Yuichi is a hard-working student who delivers newspapers to earn money. One day, his boss, Yoshida, notices Yuichi is working extra hard, delivering 500 copies instead of his usual amount. Yuichi explains he needs money for the upcoming school trip, which costs a hefty 70,000 yen per person. Yoshida is surprised by the high cost and asks if Yuichi can just skip the trip. Yuichi strongly refuses, saying he and his friends promise to go together. This shows how much Yuichi values his friendships. Later, Yuichi meets up with his friends, Shibe, Shiho, Tenji, and Yutori. Shibe jokingly offers to lend Yuichi the 70,000 yen, which Shiho quickly shuts down, calling it rude. Tenji and Yutori also express their excitement for the trip. Yuichi thanks his friends, thinking about how important their friendship is to him. However, their happy mood is shattered when a teacher announces that the 2 million yen collected for the school trip has been stolen. Shio, who was in charge of the money, apologizes, explaining she put it in her locker, locked it, and a few minutes later, it was gone. She pleads for the thief to come forward, but no one does. The students start whispering, wondering if someone with money problems might be involved, and some even suspect Shio. Yuichi also begins to wonder if one of his friends could be the thief. The next day, Shiho and Shibe don't come to school, and their friends can't reach them. Students start to openly suspect them of stealing the money. Tenji worries about the situation and suggests they check on their missing friends during the upcoming long weekend. That evening, Yuichi receives a mysterious letter from Shiho, asking him to meet her at the school gate at 11 p.m. for something important. Yuichi goes, but is surprised to find all his friends there. They are equally confused, each having received a similar letter, supposedly from Yuichi. They quickly realize they've been tricked and are being set up. Suddenly, masked figures appear and grab them, knocking them out. Yuichi wakes up in an unfamiliar room with his friends. A strange character named Manabu, who looks like a cartoon mascot, appears. Manabu cheerfully explains that they're going to play a simple game to clear a 20 million yen debt. Yuichi and his friends are shocked, having no idea how they got into such debt. Manabu explains that 10% of the debt, which is 2 million yen, the same amount stolen from the school trip fund, was paid as an entry fee to the game. This makes Yuichi suspect even more that one of his friends is the thief. Manabu then gives them a choice. If they don't play, they'll be released, but the 2 million yen entry fee won't be returned, and the person with the 20 million yen debt will have to pay it all back alone. If they play, the 20 million yen debt will be split among the 5 of them, meaning each person will owe for million yen, and they can reduce this amount by winning the game. Yuichi's friends quickly decide to play, believing that whoever caused the debt must have been in serious trouble and relied on their friendship. They agree not to question whose debt it is, emphasizing that they are friends and will help each other. Yuichi, however, still wonders about the debt's origin. Manabu then challenges Yuichi, asking if he suspects his friends or if he just cares more about money. Yuichi, remembering both his teacher saying money is important and his mother saying friends are more important, declares that friends are more important than money. Manabu then leads them to the first game room, which looks like a classroom. They are told to pick up name tags with their current debt, -4 million yen, on the back. They are warned not to show this number to anyone, or their debt will double. However, they can say the number out loud. The game is called Kakuri-san. It's a quiz where they all put their fingers on a large coin and move it to either yes or no to answer questions. If all 5 friends agree on the answer, they win, and their debt goes down. If even one person answers differently, they lose. There are 5 questions, and winning just one game clears their debt. However, if they get all questions wrong, the person with the most debt will have to take on everyone else's debt too. Manabu gives them one crucial piece of advice. Never doubt your friends. The first question is the tallest mountain in Japan Mt. Fuji? As they start to answer, everyone thought it was a simple yes, but the coin moved to no. Manabu, the game host, said the answer was yes, meaning they got it wrong. Yuichi was confused. He couldn't understand why someone would purposely get such an easy question wrong. He wondered if someone was trying to hurt the group. The second question was read by Shio. Does 1 + 1 = 2? Yuichi quickly thought it had to be yes, convinced that the first wrong answer was just a mistake. But again, the coin landed on no, and Manabu announced they were wrong. Yuichi's mind raced, wondering who the traitor was and why. He started to remember little fights and secrets among them, like Shibe trying to kiss Shiho, and Shiho being mad about something Yuichi did. He even remembered Shiho asking him for a secret only he knew. Tenji read the third question. Is the English word for near Japan? Once more, the answer was no. Yuichi realized a pattern. Each question was very simple, with an obvious yes answer. He understood that someone was choosing no on purpose. Then he looked at the rules again, specifically the part about the reader's debt being cut in half if they chose no, when everyone else chose yes. A terrifying thought hit him. The first 3 questions were set up so the reader could pick no and have their debt, while everyone else would pick yes and the group would fail. This meant one of his friends was intentionally trying to lighten their own load, even if it put the group in a worse situation. When it was Yuichi's turn to read the 4th question, he found no question written. Instead, the rules for this question were different. If the coin landed on yes, they would win the game, but if it landed on no, only the reader's debt would be cut in half. Yuichi remembered Manabu's warning about the last place penalty, where the person with the most debt takes on everyone else's. He thought about choosing no to cut his own debt, just like he believed his friends had done. He was on the edge of giving in to the game's trap, which was designed to make friends doubt each other. Just then, Yuichi remembered a conversation with Yutori. She had told him he was her true friend, because he was the only one who called her simply Kokoroji, showing how close they were. She mentioned that the other friends, while she liked them, felt a bit distant. This memory made Yuichi reconsider his actions. When Manabu pushed him to choose, Yuichi asked a simple question. Is 1 week 7 days long? He chose an obvious yes question, showing his friends that he wasn't going to betray them. But the coin still landed on no. Yuichi was frustrated and confused. He knew someone was still trying to sabotage the group, perhaps to make sure Kokoroji, who had the last turn, would get stuck with all the debt. Manabu announced the final question, emphasizing that if they got this one wrong, it was game over. The last reader was Kokoroji Yutori. Her question was, will we always be friends? Manabu even gave a hint, saying the answer was yes, but he teased that someone might still pick no. As everyone prepared to choose, Yuichi, desperate, suddenly shouted out a strange question to Shiho, breaking the rules. He asked her what color underwear she was wearing. This unexpected move left everyone stunned. What do you think Yuichi's last question was meant to do? Yuichi playfully teasing his friends, especially Shibe about his crush on Sawaraji, whose face turns bright red. Yuichi then turns his attention to Tenji, offering to share a secret only if Tenji asks for it out loud. Yuichi knows they won't, as a rule states that speaking outside of reading a question doubles their debt, and they are all trying to reduce it. He figures that one of them is secretly trying to dump their debt onto Kokoroji. He then reveals that his own debt has doubled because he spoke, making him the one with the most debt. He states that if the game ends now, the traitor, the person with the least debt, will be the big loser, as a new rule on his question card says a penalty for last place goes to the person with the least debt. Maria and Tsukino are shocked. Tsukino points out that if someone is a traitor, they wouldn't dare speak now, as it would expose them as having the least debt. Yuichi then quickly says it was all a joke to lighten the mood, and that he trusts everyone. Yuichi then tries to refocus the group on the game, reminding them of the question. Will we always be friends? He insists the answer is yes. Tsukino interprets Yuichi's look as a final warning, hinting that a no answer would mean trouble for the traitor. Maria finds the situation amusing. The group plays the Kakurisen game, a Japanese game similar to a Ouija board, and the answer lands on yes, clearing the game. Manabu, the game's host, announces their success and the prize of 2 million yen. Tsukino comments on Yuichi's sharp mind, but notes that he paid a price by planting the seed of doubt among his friends. Yuichi, now alone, vows to find the traitor before the next game. Yuichi asks his friends about their current debt, and they all claim it's 3.6 million yen, the same amount after first game reduced it by 400,000 yen from the initial 4 million. They refuse to show their name tags, citing the rule about doubling debt for speaking. Yuichi, however, says his debt is also 3.6 million, explaining that while it doubled when he spoke, he had already had it earlier in the game. He suggests that their answers didn't match in the first game due to nerves and encourages them to trust each other for the second game. As they prepare to leave, Yuichi fakes tying his shoelace to stay behind. Yuichi then starts checking the question cards, realizing that the debt amount are affected by the conditions written on them. Maria and Tsukino watch, revealing that the ink on certain parts of the cards disappears after a set time. Yuichi is frustrated that he can't see the full rules. Shiho approaches Yuichi, noticing his frustration. She asks him about his thoughts on the traitor and admits she believes there is one. She then asks him who he suspects. Yuichi shockingly tells her he suspects the most. He brings up her earlier statement about not trying to figure out whose debt it is, which he finds unlike her usual self who would never forgive a thief, especially a friend. Shiho then tearfully apologizes, admitting she suspected Yuichi because he was poor and had no parents. Yuichi is hurt, thinking she pitted him. Shiho quickly denies it, saying it was because she likes him. Yuichi is surprised and accepts her explanation. She then tells him her debt is actually 7.6 million yen, not 3.6 million. She explains that she made a small sound earlier, which doubled her debt. She believes Yuichi was trying to protect Yutori, but ended up protecting her instead. Shiho promises not to betray him and to believe in him, suggesting they overcome the game together. Yuichi agrees to cooperate. Tsukino observes that while Yuichi is sharp when money is involved, it might not be enough to win, as others are still willing to destroy their friendships. The scene shifts to the group on a rooftop. Surprise be outside. Manabu appears, now calling himself Manabu-sensei, and announcing the second game, Badmouth Sugoroku. He explains the game involves players secretly writing bad things about each other on cards in a private room. These badmouth cards are then collected and read aloud by Manabu. He gives examples like Kokoroji Yutori is actually a G-cup, or Shai Makoto wears a wig, to which Shai protests. Other examples include Sawaraji Shio has athlete's foot, Mikasa Tenji wears fake glasses, and Katajiri Yuichi is actually rich. After the bad-mouthing, viewers of the game, who are also funding it, will vote on who is the most unforgivable, determining how many spaces players move on the board. The person who scores highest, most unforgivable, moves the most spaces. There's a catch. The first person to reach the end will take on all the debt incurred by other players during the game. Each person who finishes gets 400,000 yen, but anyone left on the board when someone finishes gets an extra 1 million yen in debt. However, those left behind also get to skip the next game and go home. One of the players, Yutori, is excited by the idea of going home. The host then explains that if everyone turns in a blank card, meaning no one says anything bad about anyone else, everyone moves one space, and they all get a 2 million yen reward but must play the next game. Shiho, a kind and trusting player, suggests they all work together and submit blank cards to protect their friendship. Yuichi and Shibe agree. The game staff, Maria and Tsukino, watch, with Tsukino wondering how long the group will stay united. In the first round, everyone submits a blank card. The host announces this, and everyone moves one space. Immediately, they land on a space that deducts 100,000 yen from their money. Shibe is upset, saying they weren't told about these costs. The host dismisses him, stating that the game is just like regular Sugoroku otherwise. Yuichi quickly calculates that at this rate, they'll end up with 6 million yen in debt. The second round also sees everyone submit blank cards. They all move forward one more space and land on another penalty spot, this time deducting 500,000 yen. Yuichi is shocked by the amount. The host points out how much debt they've accumulated in just 2 moves, and then reveals a crucial detail. In the third round, things get messy. One card is not blank. The host reads it aloud. Sawaraji Shio likes Katajiri Yuichi. The group is stunned. The host then reads another part of the card, and the same Sawaraji Shio used to date Mikasa Tenji. Tsukino observes that bringing romance into play is a common way to break friendships. Shibe is furious, confronting Yuichi about knowing Shio liked him and accusing him of mocking him. Tenji steps in, trying to calm Shibe down, which only makes Shibe angrier. Tenji then reveals that he is Shiho's ex, causing more confusion. Shiho quickly explains that she and Tenji were childhood friends whose parents wanted them to get married, so they pretended to date until Tenji's father passed away and Tenji changed schools. The host questions if it was a lie, if there were no romantic feelings. Shiho tries to say they didn't have feelings, but Tenji cuts her off, confessing that he did like her and still does. He then confronts Shibe, saying he couldn't stand his attitude toward Shiho because he knew Shiho liked Yuichi. Shibe is outraged, wondering why Tenji would write such a thing on the card. Tenji denies it, saying Shibe must have written out of jealousy because he was the only one just a friend to Shiho, unlike Tenji and Yuichi who had deeper connections. Yuichi steps in to break up the argument, reminding them both that they like Shiho and shouldn't upset her. Yutori then pushes Shiho, asking if she really likes Yuichi, which Shiho admits. Yutori then hints that all the boys fall for Shiho, suggesting Yuichi will too. Maria and Tsukino watch, with Tsukino noting that the person who wrote the card is clearly pretending to be dumb amidst the chaos. In the fourth round, Yuichi goes first, confirming he left his card blank. Shiho says she's ready. The host announces at this time there are 3 submissions. The host reveals a shocking truth. Shai Makoto took baths with his mother until junior high. Then, Katajiri Yuichi once didn't take a bath for a week. Finally, actually, Sawaraji Shiho has had plastic surgery. Shibe immediately questions Shiho about the plastic surgery claim. Shiho, looking upset, asks if he would still have liked her or if they would have even been friends if she had. Maria and Tsukino discuss how friendship is even more calculating than romance, with Tsukino stating there's no such thing as unconditional friendship. The tension among the friends continues to rise as the game forces them to reveal their deepest secrets and insecurities.